episode 31 of the show, where we give opinions on YouTube.
We do.
Opinions about music. Hi. Welcome to Reviews from the Crawl Space. I'm Douglas.
I'm Vicky.
And we're doing this show. So let's get at episode 31 of the show.
Okay.
Oh, before that, just like, subscribe. No one does it, but we'll say it anyway.
Hit the bell if you want to know when we're posting new episodes. And
Or,
follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, that's right. Mm-hmm. And what's our Twitter handle?
At Return from the Crawl Space, only capital letters.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
RFTCS1.
1. There we go, we got it. Follow us there. I think we, although we don't do necessarily the greatest job, we definitely post more stuff there. And it's easier to interact with us and tell us how much you hate the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to handle these albums a little less this time around because one of them stinks. Okay, ready?
That's right. I know you say that every time we come into the apartment. Okay, so episode 31. The first album that we're going to review today is Black Sabbath, Volume 4. Janis Joplin, Pearl. And Muddy Waters, I'm Ready. This is our first Black Sabbath album, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Sabbath were an English rock band formed in 1968. They're often thought of as pioneers of heavy metal. They stood out because of their occult themes with horror-inspired lyrics and tuned-down guitars. They've sold over 70 million records worldwide. Volume 4 was their fourth album, released in 1972.
72 was the fourth. 72. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Producer was Tommy Iommi, the band's founder. He took over from a guy named Roger Bain, who had produced the band's previous 3 albums. So the track listing is Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dreams, Changes, FX, which is an instrumental. It seems to me there's some interesting story about... Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supernaut. Side 2 is Snowbird, Cornucopia, Lasagna Sunrise... Lasagna.
Lasagna Sunrise.
I'm not even hungry. Laguna Sunrise, instrumental. St. Vitus Dance, and Under the Sun.
All right, you want to mention some stuff about the songs? We got some tidbits there.
Oh, well, yeah, one of the things that, just the album in general, apparently the recording was plagued with problems, many due to substance abuse. I read that the band regularly had speaker boxes full of cocaine delivered. So it was basically their turning point, is that they realized at the end of this album that
going a little too hard.
Yeah, they needed to kind of slow down. Most critics dismissed this album, but it achieved gold status in less than a month. And I was talking about that FX instrumental is one of the guys used to wear, I think, a cross on a gold chain. Yeah. And one day the cross hit the guitar strings and it made this really crazy sound. So that song is actually them running things across and then, using it as an instrumental song, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Well, it is for sure, yeah. It's just so fucked up. Done so much below that they're just like you said, just dragging things across it. And it's a track on the album, which I actually enjoy, even though one of the band members hated it. Thought it was incredibly stupid.
Yeah. I had to laugh too, because one of the other stories that I read about while they were making this album was they found they were recording it in a house, and they found some cans of gold spray paint. So when the drummer fell asleep, they took his clothes off and they painted him entirely with his gold spray paint, and he almost died.
Yeah, no doubt. That's not good. Not good at all.
It could have had a totally different outcome.
No kidding. That's not a good thing to do. So yeah, in terms of the songs, for me, I love this album. Like, I grew up with it. It's in the collection. It's one that I listened to actively as a kid, and I've always enjoyed Sabbath. And yeah, this is, for me, I got Wheels of Confusion, Changes, Supernaut, Snowblind, and Laguna Sunrise are ones that always stood out to me, ones that I've always kind of, would put on and seek out. I mean, it's the whole album's fine.
And for me, I have never, until this one, listened to an entire Black Sabbath album.
Oh, really?
Really.
Wow.
I was not a fan of them growing up. I only know whatever songs were
the hits
played on the radio.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that Ozzy Osbourne wasn't the original singer for this band. So there was a lot of stuff that I really learned about Black Sabbath while doing research for this album.
And the good news is we'll get more, I'm sure, in the collection.
And having said that, my notes say that I really liked this album.
Yeah.
And I'm very surprised that I'm saying that. So like I said, never really paid attention. Only knew about Ozzy from that special or that reality show that he had with his family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Osbournes or whatever?
Yeah.
Holy
and
crap. That's not a good way to know them.
and I'm finding that I'm more drawn to heavy metal as I get older.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, this is, these are the foundations of metal here, and like you can really hear it in some of the songs. No, I'm glad. For me, I'm glad that you finally listened to a whole album.
It's because of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, my taste in music has drastically changed because you've introduced me to so many other bands and genres, and
what I like is,
I find that my music youth was wasted.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you definitely had some great opportunities growing up where you were, and just kind of missed like a huge chunk of.
Well, yeah, because I grew up near Detroit, so all of those bands would have been touring through there, and I just never had that influence on me when I was a kid growing up. When I look back, I think the only cool thing about my musical taste back then was really digging jazz, and that's only because of my dad.
Your dad's influence, yeah.
And so I probably know a lot about older jazz musicians and things like that than I do any of these bands that we're reviewing albums for today.
Well, yeah, like I'm happy that you have the opportunity to hear these too, because like I said, it's get your music history in, and cool. So we both enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you did, because it's always, like I said, an album that I've enjoyed, and yeah, that's the one good thing about going through this collection, I guess, is you have to slog through a lot of garbage.
Yeah, we do.
But you come across stuff
there are a lot of gems.
Yeah, like you've never listened to a Gentle Giant album before, and that was
No, and really loved it.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, so in notes, all I had was a great fucking album, and then I listed those songs. So I guess I'll get into my stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, Black Sabbath Volume 4, Canada 72. It's an original run, variation 2. So it's original. It's like a slight change in a labeling or color or something. There's just a slight little bit of change.
Right.
So it's there. Variation 2, which is kind of cool. And it was kind of funny because there's quite a few originals in here, obviously. The sheer age of them. But
well, yeah, from...
That you get, a lot of these seem to be variations, different variations of that original one. Like, it's just, to me, I never really realized that they put out that many different variations of the same album. Same songs, same general pressing, but just slight label changes, slight color changes, slight... Yeah, so anyways, I think it's interesting. I don't think they do that now. I think it's just like you put it out and that's it.
Yeah, I wonder why... Well, and there's so much digital recording these days.
Yeah, it's different now, yeah.
I mean, they might change albums or CDs or whatever they're putting out these days, but I think that it's just adding or taking away songs.
In some cases, yeah.
Some of these older albums have been remastered
remixes or something,
and for better sound quality, and so yeah, it is kind of interesting.
It is weird. Anyway, so yeah, and condition cover. Actually, this is really good considering it's an original from '72.
Yeah, and considering how much it's been listened to.
Yeah. I've listened to it quite a bit myself, and it's a fantastic condition. The sleeve is medium. There's some fading. I'm not going to pull it out because something about them just makes my allergies crazy.
Because they've been in the crawl space.
Yeah, moldy.
And then jammed into the.
And then jammed in over there
into the album shelving.
Yeah. So medium. There's some fading, some coloring weirdness kind of going on, and the spine of the sleeve is damaged. Like the album's poked through, but whatever. The vinyl's in excellent condition. Honestly,
now, is the sleeve, is it lyrics or is it just plain?
Now I gotta pull it out.
No, you don't. Okay, I see. Okay.
So there, it's like they got pictures of the band doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, and lyrics.
So, so yeah, and like I said, the vinyl itself is not worn. It looks great. It's clean. It's not moldy at all. We didn't listen to this vinyl copy. We actually had to listen to Spotify again, just because we don't have it set up. And I will say the Spotify copy has an extra part of the song. It's not just Wheels of Confusion. It goes into another song. So we had to skip that one song. I can't remember what the other song is.
I thought I wrote it down.
So anyways, cover design and artwork by Keith McMillan. Keith is a UK photog designer, created many covers for Vertigo, RCA, and another label that Nepenthe? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. In the early 70s, later became a music video director. Worked at covers for Rod Stewart, Blondie, The Pretenders, Culture Club, David Bowie. And that's it. I looked for him on the Instagrams, but couldn't. If he was one of those ones, there was a million of them, and none of them look like
Gotcha.
would be from a guy that accomplished. So.
Yeah, we found some pretty cool Instagram accounts.
Yeah, and it's something I've kind of backed off on a little bit, but I keep trying in the future. But yeah, we have come across, and it's allowed us to talk to some of the people in the past. So
yeah.
So anyways, so yeah, what's your take? Oh, you got to do.
The sale history.
Sale history. Yeah.
Lowest is $13. Average is average is $21, and the high is $46. So if you've got a copy of this album and you're trying to sell it, Discogs tells us that that's how much you would get for it in each one of those conditions.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's like that seems so realistic, but this is definitely getting a higher end for this one. This one's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So, Crawl Space. What was your take on it? What's your final?
Collection.
Collection, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it belongs in there.
And if it's in bad shape, we'll replace it.
Yeah.
It's.
Excellent. All right then.
But in the meantime, we have Spotify's.
Exactly. All right then. Sabbath down.
All right. Album number 2, Janis Joplin, Pearl. Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin. Reminds me of that episode of Jackie Jump, yeah, from that episode of 30 Rock. Janis Joplin was an American rock, soul, and blues singer, songwriter, one of the most successful and widely known rock stars of her era. Mm-hmm. Pearl is her 4th album, released in 1971. It was her 2nd solo album, actually, because she used to record with Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Yeah.
It was released in 1971, just 3 months after her death from a heroin overdose at the age of 27.
Yeah, she's one of the 27 club.
Yes. So she was the lead singer for Big Brother and the Holding Company. She left them after releasing their 2nd album, and she went out on her own. Pearl peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for 9 weeks. It was certified quadruple platinum. So really a lot of her success came to her after she died.
And that's the way it usually
And I don't think that has anything to do with her death, but just that this was a fucking fantastic album.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The producer was Paul Rothchild, who also produced The Doors. And the track listing was Move Over, Cry Baby, A Woman Left Lonely, Half Moon, Buried Alive in Blues. And this is an instrumental version of it, only because she died before recording the vocals.
Before track, yeah.
Apparently the night she died, it was scheduled to be recorded, the vocals were scheduled to be recorded the next day.
Yeah.
Only she didn't make it. Side 2, My Baby, Me and Bobby McGee, Mercedes-Benz, which was the last song she recorded, Trust Me, and Get It While You Can.
Well, and I guess that's why on Mercedes-Benz, that's why at the very end of it makes sense. And she's like, she's she laughs, and it's like that's it. That's the last thing she did. So it's just kind of funny now in that perspective that it's
very
like,
prophetic.
Yeah, oh shit. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. That's a great fucking album. If you ever tell somebody to go listen to the Janis Joplin album first time, honestly, this would be their starting point. It's so good. I mean, I love the sound of her voice. I know for some reason her voice could be contentious. I don't understand why.
It's kind of screechy.
So it's not screechy. It's so full and like it's ragged at the same time.
Gravelly and
it's
very unique
for being 27.
Yeah. Well, she was a hard drinker. In fact, they say she never went anywhere without her bottle of Southern Comfort. I think.
Yeah, Comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course she had a horrific heroin addiction, which she kicked several times and just went back to using again. She didn't really kick it, she just went back to it. Well, she recovered from it, I guess, and then went back to it. It's really quite interesting reading her life story, and
oh, for sure, yeah. Like, burned bright there for a really short period of time.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that's why I love it, and also ties into. So yeah, I recommend this to anybody. This is a must-have in your collection. I'm going to spoil all that shit now. It's definitely a must-have, and it also ties into. I don't know if people out there, if you've seen it, is Festival Express. Festival Express is also kind of entangled into all of this because it was done the summer before she died.
Yeah.
Like within a few months, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, she did that tour, probably recorded this, and then died. Like, so it's very interesting, Festival Express, to see these people. There's no way that would ever happen now. You would never be able to get that kind of documentary done because it's just all these musicians on a train going from Toronto to Calgary, and they just get fucking crazy.
Yeah, they were on LSD, and it was in whatever they were drinking.
It's so amazing. A train contained that much music talent in one spot, and they were all getting fucked up and just like playing and fucking around.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the coolest things that still music documentaries that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, wasn't it Saskatchewan? They ran out of booze.
Yeah, they just pulled in Saskatoon.
And so they pulled into Saskatoon and got off the train and went and bought all this booze and loaded the train up again.
Cleaned the store out.
There's concert footage kind of in there, but there's a lot of footage from the train, and they just jammed the whole time and
just don't sleep
hung
and jam.
out
And it's like I said, it is attached to what we're talking about here. So yeah, definitely Festival Express. I think it came out in 2003. Check it out. Also, this album. Definitely check it out. You're not going to go wrong.
If you've been living under a rock, and
for
have
some
never
reason,
heard it before.
Since the 70s. The other thing I like about the album too is it's short. I mean, I don't like all the albums short because I definitely like long albums, but you put it on, it's like 15 minutes aside, maybe.
I wonder if that's because she died during. I wonder if there would have been more had she stuck around.
Maybe 30 minutes, maybe. So it's good for that. Just put it on, crank it up, and.
The other thing that's really interesting about this album too is the band that she toured with, or that she was touring with, and who recorded this album is called the Full Tilt Boogie Band.
There you go.
And many of them are Canadian artists, which I think she met on
the train.
Festival Express.
And I will say there are 2 copies here, which I will get into right now, I guess. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Pearl, Janis Joplin, Columbia Records. Oh, I didn't say it last time, but this one is KC 3032271.
Okay.
This is the reissue. The reissue.
Well, how can you tell?
Because I actually have it written down, and when I go into the condition of them, I can actually tell by my notes which one. So this is the original U.S. version.
Okay.
This is the reissue. There you go. So okay, I just want to get that clear. Because I read my notes before I speak.
Because somebody's going to know that you're not telling the truth.
They're going to go on our YouTube. Fraud, fake news. Obviously, cover 1 condition is poor. The plain paper inside the sleeve is fine. The vinyl is a bit dirty, but it looks okay. Like I said,
so no real visible gouges.
Yeah, it says a bit dirty, minor scratches. It's been played quite a bit. The better version is plain paper, fine, and the vinyl's actually excellent and clean, like it perfect, looks new, almost new. So Cover photography and design by Barry Feinstein and Tom Wilkes. And they're both under the Camouflage Productions umbrella at the time. So, I'll show you one more time. Photo there. There.
Yeah, and that's an iconic photo of her.
Oh, for sure, yeah, totally.
And it's...
So Barry was,
awesome.
he died in 2011. He was an American photog, claimed to have produced 500 album covers. Started by taking photos of...
that claimed. He claimed to have.
That's what it said, and twice in the resources that I was looking at, it said claimed. And honestly, if you look at what is there, it's definitely in the hundreds. There's no question about that. So he started out by taking photos of Hollywood A-listers way back in the day, so probably 60s, 50s, 60s. And then moved into music in the late 60s. Did albums for Joplin, obviously. Byrds, Gordon Lightfoot, Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton. And then Tom died in 2009. He was also an American photog, or he was an American photog. He started in '67 as an art director for the Monterey Pop Fest. So that's pretty crazy. It's a pretty influential goddamn festival to be starting out on.
It seems to me that I remember that the Monterey Pop Festival was one of the first ones that she did.
Yeah,
in her professional career.
I think so. I'm pretty sure we have
something about
one of them on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure she's on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's good. I didn't realize that, but that's a good point. He ended up doing that, and then was an art director for A&M and ABC Records. Won a Grammy in '74 for Tommy, in terms of best recording package, so like the package of Tommy.
Like Zelda.
Yeah. Cover, he did stuff for the Rolling Stones, Leon Russell, Clapton, Captain Beefheart. And so for me, I just my notes it's just fucking hits all over the place. Hits.
Yeah.
And I said if I was going to introduce someone to Janis Joplin, that this would be the albums like, here, go listen to this.
Yeah.
Come back and talk to me. Just list the song. Pretty much everything on here is short. It's 30 minutes, like I said. And then I mentioned Festival Express. So good. Classic, must own.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a collection for me as well.
What else? Sorry, baby. What else you got in there?
Sale history.
Yeah.
$3 in its worst condition, $10 in its mid condition, and $27 for best condition. So
yeah.
If you have one in its good condition,
reissue.
27 is not anything to sneeze at.
So for the reissue, I could see that. The vinyl's definitely a little thinner, but I can see that for sure. It's in great condition compared.
I wish there was a way. I love Discogs, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot when we do this recording, but I wish there was a way that you could.
Just gonna put it down. We'll keep
click a little button that said which one of those three your album would fall under.
Yeah.
So that you could get a more accurate description of what your collection is worth.
Well, that's why it gives you the 3 in general.
Yeah,
right?
and right now you can see how much your collection is worth. If everything's in bad condition, this is what it's worth. If everything's in average condition, then this is what it's worth. And same with the high. But I wish there was a way that you could just say, no, this is not good. This one's really good. This one's average, and then have it all sorted out at the top.
Yeah, well, maybe we should mention the Discogs. Something to talk about. But
maybe we will.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Janis Down.
Okay, our third album. Muddy Waters, I'm Ready. And this will be our second album that we've reviewed by Muddy Waters. So I won't go into too much detail about him and his stats.
It won't be the last.
Probably not. Okay, he was an American blues singer, songwriter, and musician, referred to as the father of Chicago blues. I'm Ready was his 12th studio album, released in 1978, and second of his Johnny Winter produced albums. I'm Ready was issued 1 year after he found renewed commercial success and critical success with Hard Again, also produced by Johnny Winters. So this was produced by Johnny Winter. He had his very own successful career as an American musician, singer-songwriter, multi-instrumental.
Multi-instrumental.
Instrumentalist. And producer. He produced 3 Grammy Award-winning albums for Muddy Waters. He released over 20 albums himself during his own career.
Wow.
So the track listing is I'm Ready, 33 Years, Who Do You Trust, and Copper Brown. Side 2 is I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man, Mammy, Rock Me, Screamin' and Cryin', Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. And a lot of these songs have inappropriate little schoolgirl,
what is
girl albums.
What is it with guys and, well, I mean, the blues
It's
definitely
the blues,
have, the blues definitely have it, but what's that, and it's not just the blues, but what was it back in the day with grown-ass men wanting to bang little girls? I don't like it. I'm glad it's a trend that's not around as much anymore.
I'm sure it is.
No, I know, but like you said,
but it's
every song.
It's particularly evident on
creepy
blues albums.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Which is a shame, because I love a lot of blues, and I love Muddy Waters, but yeah, sometimes you listen to it, it's pretty cringeworthy. For sure. I don't like that at all. But, so just going to take a look here.
So for me...
So yeah, let's go ahead, yeah.
This album, I was not in the mood to listen to it the day that we listened to albums.
Which is weird, because we listened to 2 great albums before this.
Did.
We were right in the wheelhouse, the same group, same years, 3 different genres of music.
I just find the mix on the blues albums very high, screechy.
It is got a lot of higher end, yeah.
I just wasn't really in the mood for it, so it was kind of excruciating for me. As much as I love Muddy Waters when I'm in the mood, and as much as I love blues and stuff, because that's a lot of what Janis Joplin did, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Damn right she did a lot of blues.
But I was not in the mood for this album when we listened to it.
Yeah, I'm with you on the mastering to some degree. It's definitely got more high end than it needs to. And I agree with you overall. I'm a fan of Muddy Waters, and this definitely wasn't my favorite one. I said in my notes too, I don't even think it's his best one. The one I like the most is the one that follows this, the live album. And it's Muddy Waters Live, and I fucking love that album. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. This one didn't really do it for me either, which is kind of a shame. Like I said, especially I thought it was going to be 3 for 3, and not that I hated it or anything, but
no, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that when I'm in the mood for it, it would be great.
If we're out at the bar doing some drinking or something.
Yeah, the day that we if we happen to go out and we find a blues band somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm with you.
Really dig it, but
and like you said, Joplin does blues on that album we love so much, Pearl, right here. But yeah, it wasn't working for me either. Just it's situational. But yeah, okay. So do we got all that stuff there?
Yeah, I've got everything.
Okay, I'm ready. Muddy Waters, Epic, PZ or Z, depending where you're from. 34928, Canada 78. Oh, blues. I was not able to find any sort of pressing information about this album whatsoever. It's worn and faded, but it's in pretty good condition. The cover, I would say, is, what do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of
good. The corners aren't really bashed in. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's just faded. It's got the condom ring on it.
And the album art itself is really kind of interesting.
So this is kind of I'm going to put this down for a second. It's kind of a jumble of things that I found. Because it was hard to find any information on this album.
Considering that it's a Grammy winner?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
Obviously the photo on the front has got Philip Hayes, so I just assumed that's the artist on both sides, and I couldn't find shit about him. But then it says that the AllMusic, a web page I go to, has a design done by a lady named Paula Scher. And she has worked with such artists as Blue Oyster Cult, Cheap Trick, Billy Joel. But then again, that's it in terms of information for her too. So I got nothing really going on for this, which blows my mind, because like you said, one stuff, you got Winter producing it. It's not like some obscure fucking album. Mm-hmm. So it's just so odd. So my notes were some good songs, but not his best album. Like I said, personally had the next album, which I prefer. If you like the blues, I said if you like the blues, it'll work. But I'm with you. That creepy trend too. That whole little girl thing. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because we've listened to a few blues albums lately. Yeah. Wasn't there one just recently by? Can't remember the name of the artist. George Thorogood. And there were songs on there like that as well. Yeah. So I mean, I know that the blues songs, a lot of them are from back in the day, and they're just re-recorded and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a trend I've noticed. So. Oh, sorry. I just want to say too, there was no sleeve in this one, and the vinyl in this one, because it's going in, bareback, and it's a little bit moldy, and it's a little bit of scratches just from it being in there, physically being in there. So the sale history on Discogs is $12 for bad condition, $13 for average, and $15 for. That's a pretty tight. Pristine. Between shitty and good, that's a pretty tight gradient. Yeah. Well, I think that they base their numbers on because Discogs has a selling feature, a buying and selling feature. So if you're looking for an album and you want to buy it, so I think it just keeps all of the sale history, which is why I say it's sale history, and they just this is historically what the albums sell. So yeah. Okay. Anything you want to add? Oh, so collection, not collection, garbage. I would say collection. Crawl space. Yeah. Whether I would listen to it again, I'm not sure. See, and like I said, I like Muddy Waters, but there's nothing for me to want to go back to and listen to this specific album. When we probably have some, besides the live one that we've already done that I enjoy. There's probably another one in there that's got a collection of his better songs, and like for me, I would never listen to it again. So I'd either sell it or it'd go back in the crawl space. Gotcha. So there you go. Okay. All right. Episode whatever it was down. 31.